Hi, Mom. So I got my ticket home from Europe. I get back on June 6th, but it's a really late flight because that was the cheapest, so it gets in at midnight. But don't worry, I'll get a shuttle from the airport so you don't have to pick me up. Like, really seriously, you don't have to. Okay, so love you. See you soon. Bye.
The sunset light in this house is the saddest thing I've ever seen. I just want to sleep. When I'm in the attic, it almost feels like Lonnie could still be here. She's just downstairs. I'm just waiting to hear her pull down the hatch and come running up. Maybe I'll go up to the attic and wait. Lonnie came over today, but everything was different. She was sitting at my desk chair, and she wouldn't look at me. Finally, I asked her what was going on. She said she felt like she'd done something wrong that night in the city. Like I must think... But I said no, there was nothing wrong. I just wanted to say... But I couldn't find the words. I felt like I was gonna cry, but I wasn't sad. She got up and sat next to me on the bed. I looked at her. Lonnie, do you think you could ever... And that's when she kissed me.
Hi, Mom. So I got my ticket home from Europe. I get back on June 6th, but it's a really late flight because that was the cheapest, so it gets in at midnight. But don't worry, I'll get a shuttle from the airport so you don't have to pick me up. Like, really seriously, you don't have to. Okay, so love you. See you soon. Bye.
The sunset light in this house is the saddest thing I've ever seen. I just want to sleep. When I'm in the attic, it almost feels like Lonnie could still be here. She's just downstairs. I'm just waiting to hear her pull down the hatch and come running up. Maybe I'll go up to the attic and wait. Katie, I'm so sorry that I can't be there to see you in person, that I can't tell you all this myself. But I hope as you read this journal and you think back, that you'll understand why I
Hi, Mom. So I got my ticket home from Europe. I get back on June 6th, but it's a really late flight because that was the cheapest, so it gets in at midnight. But don't worry, I'll get a shuttle from the airport so you don't have to pick me up. Like, really seriously, you don't have to. Okay, so love you. See you soon. Bye.
The sunset light in this house is the saddest thing I've ever seen. I just want to sleep. When I'm in the attic, it almost feels like Lonnie could still be here. She's just downstairs. I'm just waiting to hear her pull down the hatch and come running up. Maybe I'll go up to the attic and wait. Katie, I'm so sorry that I can't be there to see you in person, that I can't tell you all this myself. But I hope as you read this journal and you think back, that you'll understand why I had to do what I did. And that you won't be sad, and you won't hate me, and you'll just know that I am where I need to be. I love you so much, Katie. I'll see you again, someday. Love, Sam. The sunset light in this house is the saddest thing I've ever seen. I just want to sleep. When I'm in the attic, it almost feels like Lonnie could still be here. She's just downstairs. I'm just waiting to hear her pull down the hatch and come running up. Maybe I'll go up to the attic and wait. Katie, I'm so sorry that I can't be there to see you in person, that I can't tell you all this myself.
Hi, Mom. So I got my ticket.
Dear Katie, so much has changed, even just since you've been away. We moved into this house. I'm in a new school. And my big sister being gone for a year doesn't make... It's weird hanging out with girls. Daniel was around ever since I was little, and other girls... I don't know. But being around Lonnie is like instantly just right. I gave her the grand Psycho House tour. Lonnie came over today, but everything was different. She was sitting at my desk chair, and Lonnie brought her hair dye over. Today. She said, I need to fix these roots. Think you could help? Dyeing hair is weirdly intimate. I don't know if I've touched someone else's scalp before. That's pretty intimate, right? It felt intimate. We looked into the mirror together after, and I expected her to say something about how it looked crappy, or good, or whatever. But that's when she said, "You're so beautiful." And she was... Oh my god. You are so lucky you finished high school before we moved into this house. So, it's the first day of school, and there I am, introducing myself to the class. And I say that I just moved into the house on Arbor Hill. All of a sudden, every kid in the room turns and just stares like I suddenly transformed into a mutant. I just stood there, wishing pretty hard for a rewind button. Because now maybe nobody knows my name, but they all know who I am. The Psycho House girl. Great. At Todd's brother's place after the show, there was only a futon to sleep on, so Lonnie and I shared it. The lights went out. I was turned toward her. My eyes started to adjust, and then I could see she was looking at me, too. In the dark, she smiled. You know that...
This is a severe weather warning. The Northwest Weather Service reports high...
That feeling where the first moment you see someone, it's like they have a big gold star around them, and you have to get to know them. Well, there's this girl. I think she's a senior. She's usually dressed kind of punk, but sometimes I see her... When you live... in one place your whole life, your next door neighbor is kind of like your default friend. And Daniel only got weirder over the years. So moving away... So you know what they say about the best laid plans of mice and men? Yeah, turns out it applies to Street Fighter too. At least I worked up the courage to walk into the 7-Eleven and ask for a turn, but all that practice at home did not exactly translate in the wild. It's different now. I mean, we still hang out all the time like before. But now when no one else is around... Well, you know... I'm so stupid sometimes. I was telling Lonnie that I got into my college summer program thing, and I was... Todd's band lost their singer. Todd said he sucked. Lonnie said he got sick of Todd's shit. And he was complaining about needing a new singer. So Lonnie was like... They tell you... you to stick with the group on field trips, Katie. There's a reason for that. Lonnie and I snuck off on the side paths at Multnomah Falls and got a little lost. Okay, a lot lost. Like, for hours. Right before the bus left, we found a trail and came running down the path, soaked and covered. I don't get Lonnie sometimes. Like, her band, and our zine, and her hair, and everything are all anti-authority. But I watch her in JR... Katie, you know how Mom and Dad are. Not exactly super open-minded about things. It feels like every minute I don't... I had an interesting talk with Mom and Dad tonight. When you were never gonna need to have. I mean, you've known, right? I've known. I've known since, like, She-Ra. Lonnie had her going away show with her band tonight. She's so incredible on stage. When she was singing, I could practically forget everything. We agreed our last night together would be our happiest ever, and we'd forget tomorrow was going to come at all. It worked for a while. We had a good time seeing Oscar off, then ran up to the attic to look through our photos, to find one for Lonnie to take with her. And looking... Daniel finally came over to get his game. I'd been dreading it. But he brought this story with him that I wrote when we were little. I started reading it, and then there I was, I asked Lonnie what she had to do to get ready to ship out for basic training. She said, not a lot, really. You're not allowed to bring anything with you. You have no possessions, no contact with the outside world while you're in basic. You just train hard every day, and then you deploy from there. So... they'll just send her away. To who knows where. The other side of the country. The other side of the world. My mind, like, can't... process it. She's really going to be... gone. Just gone. The sunset light in this house is the saddest thing I've ever seen. I just want to sleep. When I'm in the attic, it almost feels like Lonnie could still be here. She's just downstairs. I'm just waiting to hear her pull down the hatch and come running up. Maybe I'll go up to the attic. Meow, meow. Meow, meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Sometimes you just have to lie to Mom and Dad. Like when Lonnie asked me to see a band with her and stay over at her friend's place in the city after. That's a lie to Mom and Dad's situation. But it was so worth it. The girls on stage were just so loud and real and awesome. And everybody was moving to... Oh my God. Katie, I fell asleep in the attic, in Lonnie and my old spot, and I missed the first 2 calls. I just barely caught the third one before the machine got it. And it was Lonnie, on a payphone. She'd been on the bus to Basic, and
Hi, Mom. So I got...
So, Christmas Duck. Hi, I'm Steve Gaynor. I'm the co-founder of the Fulbright.
Hello, my name is Kate Craig, and I was creating a lot of the environment assets for the game. Not all of them, some of them I...
Oh man, mom handwriting. We went through a lot of different moms for handwriting.
Hi, I'm Chris Remo, the composer on Gone Home. In my commentary tracks, I'm going to be...
Hi, this is Corin Tucker from Heavens to Betsy. And Heavens to Betsy was a band that formed in 1991, actually. And I actually got the idea for joining a band when I moved to Olympia, Washington, and became a fan of the music scene there. And it seemed like everyone was in a band.
This is where you find the first half of Sam's Locker, or I guess it's actually the second half of Sam's Locker combo as far as what the piece of paper is. But at first, when you're putting like lamps and stuff around a house, one thing.
So these are all the VHS tapes, or most of them, in the house, and these in the TV room are.
My name is Sarah Grayson, and I do the voice of Sam Greenbrier in Gone Home. Currently based out of Portland, Oregon, so right around where the Fulbright Company is from, which is part of, I guess, how this all came to be.
So here's one of Dad's pulpy JFK books.
One of our favorite.
The doors were actually one of the hardest things in the game to get working correctly, and I know that there's...
Here we have Fresh Magazine, which is...
Inside of this file folder, you find the first combination code in the game. This code goes to Dad's locked filing cabinet, and it's 0451, which is a bit of a tradition / in-joke.
Most of the bookshelves in the house are... This is our old-timey record that we got from archive.org, Source of All Good Things. It's by Adrian Roll.
I feel like one of the best bits of advice was actually from the Fulbright team before going in to do the first recording. And it was a suggestion that I should watch some episodes of my soap.
Composing the ambient exploration tracks definitely ended up being the weirdest part of creating music for Gone Home. The audio diaries tended to take precedence since they had...
One of the larger assets that we needed for the basement to really give it character and personality.
Oh man, this thing.
So two things. One, Mom's Canadian.
Yay!
Two, so there's this...
You know, there was kind of this intellectual, cross-cultural, like, pen pal thing that happened before the internet. You know, we used to write letters back and forth to each other about our ideas and about how we wanted to change things. And so a bunch of these women that I mentioned came up with this idea of Riot Girl, of being a punk rocker that was also an in-your-face feminist.
Putback is...
There was a little bit of concern on my part before any of this got started that you never know how much liberty you're going to be given and how much over-direction you're going to get, because somebody hears it like a specific way, and if you deviate from that at all, you're just going to keep doing the line over and over and over again, like 50 times until it's right. So I really wasn't sure what to expect, but even on the first day...
The music for Gone Home was mainly composed over two separate periods, roughly a year apart. A version of Part 1 of the game had to be ready by October 2012 for...
Fanzines, I mean, that's one of the things that we started doing right away, was doing these Riot Girl fanzines. And
So earlier in...
All of the sliding doors that you see in the game are actually, from a code perspective, drawers. When I made a thing that could slide along a track like that.
You know, it's really about the ideals that we were trying to get across in our music. You know, I think that
When you put out
For a long time, the kitchen was not going to be mid-renovation the way that it is. And it's one of those things...
Definitely the second half.
Oh, you found an Easter egg!
Who found it?
You found it! This is the best! You looked up! No one in a first-person game looks up!
Because there's no rewards to looking up.
Because it's hard to look up.
Also,
So that...
I'd already played through the first full half of Gone Home before I started composing any music, which was...
Really early on, we didn't really give Kate very specific direction for this. So you want to talk about this fucking jazz mug?
Nobody wants to talk about the jazz mug.
Well,
It's
except
the
for
worst.
Carla.
I hate it. It's the worst.
that was such a common theme
Yeah.
when we were like approving assets or making
Yeah.
stuff visually for Gone Home. Is just like, oh my god, that's hideous. I fucking hate it. We're putting it in the game.
Yeah,
Because
there's
like
so
just
much-
like
All of the sliding doors that you see in the game are actually, from a code perspective, drawers. When I made a thing that could slide along a track like that, for the purpose.
yeah, the biggest purpose of the Goodfellow High School jacket and the logo generally is a reference to the logo for Minerva's Den, the the section of Rapture that DLC takes place in that we worked on together. The fact that there are speedruns for our game makes me really happy, and the fact that that the any percent speedrun, aka you don't have to pick up anything, just get to the end as fast as possible, has basically.
We never really discussed the idea of individually scoring each audio log ahead of time.
I had seen Bikini Kill and Bratmobile play their first show at the North Shore Surf Club in Olympia. That was
Around. So these are stereoscopic?
Stereogram?
One of the assets that I really liked creating in the game were these board games. So there's 3 in total of them throughout the house.
Yeah, I ended up being pretty happy with this. This is the only picture of Lonnie.
I was one of the Barfburger is enjoyed by all. A lot of Gone Home is about pointless.
The boxes of tampons.
Well, I mean, one of the most comforting things in the world to me is having somebody, like, brush my hair or stroke my head. Like my mom, when I wasn't feeling well, I could lie down in her lap and she would just brush my hair.
The life cycle of the condom.
That's not a real thing, Steve.
One of my favorite things that came out during development was someone wrote an email.
Another board game. This one.
So there's a lot less density in the house than there would be in a real house. Like if you look around your house, there's just junk piled everywhere. Probably.
Maybe
like
it's just our house.
I think it's most house.
Oh, you're right.
But almost none of the events, the little events in the game, are.
I really enjoyed playing Gone Home. I have to say it was pretty exciting to find the Heavens to Betsy tape, because that.
Okay, the Wildfire book. Oh, man, look at this thing. Yeah, this was another one of those situations in which I totally felt like a weird creepo when I was doing research, and there was a lot of really horrifying romance novel covers. This poor guy was on somebody's Flickr account that was.
You want to talk about A Place for Christmas Duck?
This is.
It's one of those things where we had always wanted to. Well, so this is the last room in the game, or at least the last room chronologically in the story.
Katie, I'm so sorry that I can't be there to see you in person, that I can't tell you all this myself.